All right, everyone, I'm back with another video, and this is one that I'm very excited to share because it's been on the back burner for about 2 years. So I was able to put a 35-inch spare tire in the stock location. Now, a lot of people have done this before without all the work that I went into it, but I didn't like how low the tire hung and how it fit just in relationship to the frame and where everything was at. So we made everything, we made a custom mount to fit everything, and it's been working fantastic. I really like how it turned out. Now, you might be wondering, why would I want to do that when I could have a tire carrier on the bumper or as a swing out? Now, the reason I did this, and the truck has been through many iterations. I have had swing outs before. The reason I chose not to do that this time was for several reasons. One, the truck is in a more practical setup to use as a pickup because I don't necessarily use it for camping as much as I used to. Having that swing out sort of makes using the tailgate often a pain. It's just a pain in the butt to open that thing out when you're in a parking lot and just to get the tailgate down. Second of all, the spare tire weighs a ton. It weighs about 85 pounds. And so having that weight just off of the back here of the truck, sort of like swinging down, cantilever motion makes it that there is a lot more weight in the back than there really is. So all that physics was not, my rear suspension just was not happy doing that. So we went ahead and made that change. And so this video, I like to keep everything short and sweet up front. And then if you want to see the process, I'm gonna have that all going through the rest of the video. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you have any comments or you have any suggestions or you think I could have done something better, just put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think. And here we go. I'll give you a quick rundown of how this thing all works. All right, so right here, you can see the spare tire, and it's in the stock location. It fits up nice and high. I also went ahead and added the Banff shackle hangers right there while I was doing all this. But as you can see, the tire does not hang lower than those shackle hangers. So I have really good clearance. The other thing I was able to do was add the stock exhaust tip that I had cut off. I think that looks pretty cool down in there. And then we have a strapping system here to hold the tire up because the pulley, which is accessible here from the side, I'll try to see if I can grab with the camera. The pulley system, you can actually fit a wrench in there to lower the tire, lower or raise the tire. So that's the only area that I have some work to do, is I have to make sure that that pulley system is a little bit more accessible. That's the only pain in the butt, because as you can see here, this is the only gap I have. So I either have to drill a hole in the bumper or make a setup that I can reach from the bottom. So that's gonna be a little bit of work, but hopefully I don't have to change the tire too often. I just rotate them every once in a while. But here you can see the tire and the strapping system to hold it in place so that the pulley system isn't supporting the weight. And right now it's buttoned to the rear bumper because it's a much more convenient spot. But I also have a brace up in the top, as you'll see later. So anyways, I'm gonna show you, I gotta give credit where credit is due. So I'm gonna show you where I got inspiration for this project. Oh, and the last thing I will add is I did this project over several months. So the footage coming up is going to be really random and kind of all over the place. So I apologize for that, but I had to work on it just when I had some time to work on things. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you step by step how I designed this, how I came up with it, and how we got to the final product. So I hope you enjoy it. Stick around. All right, so this is where I got inspiration for the whole project. I got this from Schaefer's Off-Road, and he's been running this on his personal truck for a while, and this is where I developed a lot of the ideas. It's a great product, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. There were just a couple of things that I wanted to change, and rather than chopping this guy up and to change it, I went ahead and made my own. So the first thing that I really liked about this was that the pulley system was accessed from the side. So as you put a bigger spare tire, the stock location is accessing it right here, right under the bed, but the tire, because it moves up higher, blocks your access to the pulley. So this still uses the stock pulley system, but it gives you room to access it from the side, which I thought was a super cool idea. The other thing was, because the pulley can't support the weight of the spare tire, it uses another mechanism to secure the tire in place. So with Schaefer's example, he uses lug nuts, the stock lug nuts, so you're able to hold the tire in place with those, which is super solid. Now, the two things I didn't like about this was, one, you had to weld this to the frame. And so I don't have problem welding anything to the frame, but it's a more permanent setup than what I have. And so that was one of my deterrents. And you also have to add a little bit more bracing because of the way it's mounted relative to the stock X brace that's already there. The other thing that I didn't like was, because this uses lug nuts to hold it, the non-cosmetic side of the tire is gonna sit facing up, whereas in the stock location, the cosmetic side goes up. So what that means is, when you have the pulley system and it's pulling the tire up to secure it in place, it's pulling from the cosmetic side, the side that faces the outside of the truck when it's on there. And when you secure this with bolts, that little metal pulley, it can come loose and then rattle around and sort of damage the face of the tire. So that was the other thing I didn't like. But other than that, it's super stout, it's super thick, really heavy gauge material, and it's super solid. So this is where I got inspiration to start. So I borrowed some ideas from this and then made up some of my own. So here we go, let's get started.
All right, so here's just a quick and dirty rundown on how to remove the truck bed on these Tacomas. It's super simple. A couple of the things I've already done. So first of all, you want to remove these two screws right there to remove the taillight and unplug the harness. That's on both sides. You want to undo, obviously, the 3 bed bolts that are here. You also want to take off your gas cap, because this is going to slip right out. And then under the truck over here, you want to go through and disconnect all of the wires that are connected to the truck bed, so that you don't have anything snagging. So that's going to vary based on your truck and model. So you want to go do all that prep. And then after that, it's pretty simple. After all these 6 bolts, there's 3 on that side, 3 on this side. After those are all out, this whole thing just lifts right up. All right, here we go. Just a quick and dirty fab job. So a couple of bolts there to hold this guy in place. And yeah, that's what that looks like right there. So that'll get me roadworthy. And then we are going to replace the cross member, replace the shackle hangers, and put in hydro bumps if those fit under the hoses. So that's the plan for the back of the bed. Okay, so we are gonna get ready to install this on the truck. It's gonna be pretty straightforward. I have all the pieces cut out. This is what they look like. So we have the top plate, the side plates, and all the little miscellaneous pieces that plug into there. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take out these bolts. I've already taken out the rivets on the bottom, so you can see it's just all bolts all the way around. Unfortunately, I can't just slide this up and out because all that stuff's in the way, so we're gonna have to cut this down the middle and take it out as 2 pieces. But this new part that's going in, it's gonna have this top plate removable, so that each section that we weld in is gonna be separate, and we can remove this whenever we want. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's tear all this down and cut it out, and then we'll get to welding and see how it goes. All right, so far we got this out, and now we're gonna put in the plates and tack them in. And so we're gonna put them in there, you know, kind of snug the bolts up a little bit, and then tack everything in place, and then we'll start putting everything together, tack it into place, and then weld it on the table. Put it back in, and then we should be ready to go. We'll call it a day at that point, and we'll paint it some other day. So let's go. All right, so the GoPro ran out of juice yesterday, and I didn't capture all the footage. Plus, I ran into a couple hiccups, but I got those squared away, and we got everything welded in. So we have the center plate, and what I did here, in order for this to be able to be removable, this piece, these are actually still separated. You could see the two halves right there, I think. Here, let me switch this around. You can see the two halves right there, and this is all bolted in, and so that way I can unbolt that center plate, and these pieces can come out individually in case I ever want to change this up or add to it or just rebuild a new one. It's really easy to pull it back out. Same thing with the center plate. If for any reason I need to change the whole pattern or anything like that, I could do it. Plus I could actually flip this guy 180 degrees and move the tire that way, and then I have about 1.5 inches of play there on the pulley. So far that's what it is. We will mount up the tire tomorrow and kind of test fit it so that we can weld some hooks. All right, so here we go. It's all in. We had to make our own custom mounts. I'll go over those in a little bit, what options I had and why I ended up going with those things. So we got those in. We have a Y-strap on the bottom that goes like that on there. It's actually being tied into the bumper right there. I drilled a hole and put this twist loop or this twist hoop thing right there so I can grab onto it. And yeah, there she is. Now the next step is going to be to put the bed on top and see if it all clears. All right, we got the bed on for a quick test fit. We are gonna mark where we need to cut out of the bed. So it looks like we gotta cut out this rib entirely, all the way across. Same with that one. Bring it in about 1.5 inches, and then we also need to cut that center section so that the plate fits all the way down. So quite a bit of cutting to work. I mean, quite a bit of cutting to do. And then hopefully this part here doesn't hit the bottom. We have to notch that out. So TBD, we'll mark everything up and then see what we need to do next. All right, here we are pre-cutting. So we have to cut out that rib, this whole matrix right there that's under there. It's gonna be a bummer because there's a nice X brace right here that adds rigidity to the bed. I'm gonna have to cut all of that out. That is gonna be a pain in the butt. All right, so we are going to come in here and shave off the ribs here where the brace impacts. I'm in a full Tyvek suit only because this is made out of a like a fiber composite material, and it leaves a little like whatever the little fiberglass fibers are, and that stuff is itchy. So I'm gonna be wearing a respirator, a full face shield, and have this thing over my head, so hopefully I don't get that stuff. I know it's a little extreme. It's definitely not cool, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that, and then I have from a previous video the I don't know, you can't see it, but some bed liner I put up there that's cracking. I'm gonna try to grind that off too. So this is a pretty sketchy setup with the forklift. I have this pile of pallets where I've been putting the bed. So if for some reason this thing fails and then decides to fall, at least it'll hit that first and maybe not crush me. So I'm gonna suit up and try to cut that out. So we'll see how long that takes. All right, I got it done, but that suit was no joke, and I still got stuff around my eyes. Thankfully, nothing's in my eyes or in my lungs, but I am like soaked. I don't know if you could see that, but I can pretty much squeeze. It feels like I got like just drenched in water, but I got it all ground down. You could see the opening there. This is all cleared out right here. This one's a straight shot right there. Oh man, that sucked. I don't know if I'm doing that again. All right, we just finished coating the bars. We are using Steel. This stuff is awesome because it has stainless flakes in it, which is has good anti-corrosion properties. You can also weld on it. So if I ever wanted to add something to it, I can weld right on top of the paint, which is super convenient. Plus this stuff is like super durable. So I love this stuff. So we got everything coated. We're gonna wait for that to dry. And then we also went ahead and prepped the frame. So we painted where the old shackle hangers were. So just to kind of take off some of that surface rust and paint all along the inside. And anywhere we ground down the metal and got it all ready. So it's just gonna sit here for a little bit till it all dries. We'll put those back in. And then once we are done with that, then we can finally put the bed back on now that it's all fixed up. So yeah, little steps, but we are almost there. I'm excited.
All right, so here we go. We have everything uncovered, and I'm gonna show you basically how this works, how this functions, and I think it turned out really good. So overall, we were able to fit the giant 35 in here. This top plate comes off, which basically turns this into two pieces so that I can remove it easily, and these pieces bolt in right in the stock location. So let me see if I can capture that. So it bolts right where the old one used to go. It even uses these top bolts. And then we have this mounting strap, which is like a Y, and it holds the tire in place so that the little winch doesn't have to, which by the way, can be accessed from the side. So if we look at it over here, here's our access. So we can access it all the way from this angle. And yeah, this thing fits really well, is really snug, and the whole 35 will fit in there. And as you can see, it doesn't stick down below the shackle hanger. So this is what it looks like with the bed off. So you can see all the little details. We even have caps here on the end of it to kind of protect it. But all in all, it's a pretty compact fit and it looks great.
All right, here's the very last piece to this puzzle. We are gonna add this muffler tip that was originally cut off from here. And I did a pretty poor job at cutting that. So we're going to put this on here to act as an insulator to keep that pipe as as cool from the muffler. So we already went ahead and we marked where we're gonna cut. That's the bottom line, and then this is gonna snug up to the top one. So we got to clean all this up and then prep it to get welded. So we're gonna probably stick that in somewhere like that. So it looks like this. And so we'll see how that looks towards the end. All right, thank you so much for watching that video. If you stuck around this long, you're one of the real ones. Leave real one in the comments so I know you made it this far. I make this content just for fun, so the fact that you stayed and watched it means so much to me. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I really appreciate you guys. See you on the next one.